This is Things You Might Not Have Heard, and I am Jay Cliven Payne, and I'm ready to present to you yesterday's latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture. This is your go-to supplemental source for both unconventional and some of the more conventional news stories. Some of them you have missed, some of them have been right there in your face. We have added context to all of them. In the queue, we have 8 stories for today, which are actually yesterday's stories that you vetted as conversational, and we put them in the right form, if you will, for this newscast for you this morning. I'll explain the vetting process and a bit more after the headlines are read and give you some today things, some fun stuff to get into for today. So stick around to the end. You will definitely enjoy it all. Visit our website. This is a conversationproject.com. More details and information on how we do this every single day. And of course, email us with your concerns, comments, and even, monetary donations at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. Let's get into the stories for today. Starting off with headline number 1. Today is, of course, Friday, December 29th, 2023. Let's get into headline number 1 now, and it reads the headline like this: Illinois Terrence Shannon Jr. suspended, charged with rape in Kansas. Terrence Shannon Jr. is a leading player for the Illinois men's basketball team. He's been suspended indefinitely following charges of rape in Kansas. The university announced that suspension after the charges were filed. Shannon is known for his significant continuous contributions on the court. He faces some serious legal issues off the court at this moment. The nature of the charges and further details about the case have not been disclosed to the general public at this time, but because it's a public filing, i.e. the whole charges, it has to be known. We'll know more about this as it goes along. This story we didn't really want to get into, but this one popped up literally overnight when we put it in the feeds as a overwhelmingly top story. And this story will come back to have a significant impact for the weekend shows. And we'll talk about weekend shows when we get towards the end of the headlines. Let's go to headline number 2 for this morning. It reads like this: Study shows TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube are making billions, that's with a B, in ad revenue from kids. Recent Harvard study revealed that social media platforms generated nearly $11 billion in advertising revenue from U.S. users that are under 18 years old from 2022. The significant income highlights the growing influence of social media on younger audiences and raises questions about the ethical implications of targeting minors for advertising revenue. The study emphasizes the need for more awareness and the possible regulation regarding how social media interacts with and profits from young users. Now, this is a serious issue. It's also not necessarily new because folks in my age group, the Gen Xers, even some of the older or younger baby boomers are used to the whole fact of Saturday morning cartoons and cartoons in the afternoon being essentially literally being there nothing but to be advertisements for toys and games and things like that. So the whole concept of selling kids on these things with influence is not new. The newestness is the targeting of social media and the stickiness that it does and what it literally does to our brains every time we open up an app and look at things. Headline number 3 for this morning reads like this: Edible Pop-Tarts mascot made glorious entrance from toaster at K-State's bowl game. The college bowl season had a new bowl, a fairly new bowl, the Pop-Tart Bowl, which offered up a trophy which had toaster slots for a Pop-Tart and a Pop-Tart toaster mascot who popped out of a toaster at the beginning of the game and, of course, at the end of the game was eaten by the winning team. Yes, the team won the mascot. The mascot was edible. Air quotes, it wasn't really the costume. They just basically had another Bako Pop-Tart cake baked for the team to eat. Unique to resemble a strawberry frosted Pop-Tart, added the playful and interactive elements of the game. The winning team, of course, Kansas State, got the celebration with the win. And one of the weirder pictures of this, if you watch social media, there was a guy who was covering the game who's eating the Pop-Tart in front of the Pop-Tart mascot saying, "Is this kind of offensive?" And the Pop-Tart, of course, said no, grabbed that out of his hand and started force-feeding it into his mouth. This was a guy who was really in the character and knew what his job was to do. Let's go to headline number 4 for this morning. Headline number 4: Almost 4 million blenders sold at Costco, Target, and Walmart are recalled because blades are breaking off. What are these blenders? They are the BlendJet 2s by BlendJet Inc., who sold nearly 4.5, or they're actually recalling nearly 4.8 million of them for the holidays, as this was a pretty big deal. As you saw all the commercials, everywhere you went, there was a BlendJet 2 commercial. Hey, get this thing, the blender for everyone else. Now, these are specific ones at specific places so they can track them. Serial numbers have 5201 and 5542 in them, sold in retails at Costco, Target, and Walmart between October 2020 and November 2023. So that batch that you ordered online, probably not in the recall. Make sure you check it anyway before you start using it, because blades coming off of blenders tend to be bad for everyone. Headline number 5 this morning. Shakira's hometown unveils a giant statue of the beloved Colombian pop star. Shakira's hometown of Barranquilla, totally butchered that, Colombia, unveiled a towering 21-foot statue in her honor. Shakira, the very distinctly short singer, has got a really tall statue in her town as they are honoring her for her musical success and global impact. Now, remember, many folks are trying to sue Shakira for not paying taxes, but the folks from her hometown love her so much they spent their tax money on a 20-foot statue of the young lady. So that's how things work, at least around there. Let's move on to headline number 6. It reads, Boebert switches congressional districts, avoiding a Democratic opponent who has far outraised her. Lauren Boebert is moving to the Colorado's 4th district to run for Congress, to run for a different seat, not the same seat she's had for 2 terms, because there are issues. Last time she ran for her seat and got the re-election, she won by literally a handful of votes. The votes count was very small. This time, essentially with all the craziness going on around her and all that's going on and people in Colorado sort of figuring out what's up, she's trying to keep her job, or by going to another job in the job, essentially transferring herself out of one position to the other. The current person in that she's run against was the same guy she ran against last time, who she barely beat, and he's raised over $7 million for the funds in the campaign coming forward. She's only raised about 1.7, maybe $2 million on the end. So she's not raising enough money. She doesn't have the stature, and people tend to want to go in this round Democratic, or at least anti-Boebert, which is why she's staying a Republican, but she's shifting a district, which means, buying a new house, whatever. This is easy to do as she's dealing with all the other issues in her life, including the divorce and now the new grandchild, which should be things that may make you worry about why this congresswoman is what she's doing in Congress. We shall see if she is able to maintain her role in Congress, or a role in Congress per se, since it's technically a different role in a different district. Story for number 7 with the headline, Paramore wipes out social media, deletes website. The band Paramore ended the year in a mysterious way by deleting their Instagram and X/Twitter accounts and their actual website. They no longer have a band website. They said there's some uncertainty about what they're doing going forward. They are still playing the upcoming iHeartRadio Alter Ego Jam next month, taking place on the 13th of January. This has some big names, big performance going on there, including Paramore. But will there be Paramore after this one, or will this be no more for the band? Right now, you know as much as we do. And the 8th story for this morning, North Korea's Kim orders military to accelerate war preparations. North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, not only wants his people to have more babies, but he always wants them to get ready for war. The directive follows recent regional tensions and is part of North Korea's broader military development plans. Kim's announcements emphasizes enhancing the country's defense capabilities amid heightened concerns over potential conflicts in the region. Move signals a continued focus on military strength in North Korea's strategic policies. As we said, North Korea thinks that things are happening, and so they're getting ready for war, and they're trying to, do the population thing. That's a totally separate story. But with North Korea, they all sort of wander into the same sort of batch. In our errors, apologies, and omissions section, we are not talking about this story. We've talked about it actually over the last couple of days. Now, if you've not been around for a few days, if this is your first time seeing us pop up here, this is a broadcast we do every single weekday morning called Things You Might Have Heard. You heard that part in the opening. We have not done this for the whole week, this week of Christmas into New Year's Eve, taking some time off, but we're coming today to test some things out and do some stuff. So we've actually put this story out on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts, and have some back and forths in the Twitter messages, X messages. Here's what we're not actually talking about here, but it's a big deal. John Oates was still really proud of Hall & Oates, despite the ex-bandmate being Oates, his restraining order. John Oates, or ex-bandmate being Hall, I should say. John Oates is now speaking out about the fact that he's being sued by his former bandmate, former friend, if you will, because John Oates wants to sell his stake in the music rights for John and Oates Daryl Hall doesn't want to do that for whatever reasons. And whatever reasons John Oates wants to, other than, make that cash, which is not necessarily a bad reason, it's not necessarily clear. We do know that John Oates wants to make that cash, and he's trying to sell this parts, but the restraining order is keeping things from happening. And the big battle from one of the most beloved groups in history, Blue Eyed Soul, and just general pop from the 80s anyway. And a lot of people are just really saddened about this story as it potentially grows, but it's the same thing. The bandmates are fighting with each other. We want them to get back together. Our teaser story for the weekend, going into the weekend, and could be a story we can talk about on Monday, is this headline here. General Hospital star Kristen Storms abruptly replaced after sudden leave of absence. This is a story that may not mean much to you, but if it does, we want you to look for it in the feeds. Now, the feeds is how we get stories to speak to you here on our broadcast. You engage in stories on Twitter or X and Facebook. We know they seem like dying platforms, but they're the best way for us to get you to see these stories and to tell us what stories are actually worthy of chatting up. So go to the feeds. They're on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is Conversation Project is our page there, and Twitter.com, X.com, if you will, /TH_conversation. Every 50 minutes or so, we post news stories from various sources, various news places. And I got some chastising over the past week as we pulled some newer ones that were even a little odder than the ones before. You may not believe they're legit news sources. They may not be all that legit, but they're opening up a can of worms or a conversational topic. We want you to get your take on it, especially where it came from. Engage in the story. So just if you don't like it, hate it. If you like it, love it, share it, engage in it. The higher score of engagement or story gets, the more chance we have of talking about it, either in things you might have heard every single morning or in the weekly wrap-up. We'll explain those in a little bit as well, the weekend stuff, in just a moment. But this story right here is in the feeds right now, whenever you're watching this, whether it's live or in the playback. Look for it in the feeds for Friday. And if you want to talk about this come Monday, engage in it and make it a top 30 story. Top 30 stories of the weekend. We'll make it into one of the top 10 stories for Monday morning. For the rest of the week, it's top 15 stories, top half of the day for 8 stories in the day, just like today was. Let's take a moment to get into 2024 on a new leaf. And if you have a resolution to read more, which many people throw out there, here's your chance. The Blinkist app, and it'll give you a chance to read more faster, read more detailed stuff, because it allows you to ingest books, whole books that would take you hours to read in less than 30 minutes in most cases. And here's the kicker. It'll take you less than 30 minutes to either read it with your eyeballs or read it as an audiobook, because audiobooks are books. It's not cheating. So a big, long, unabridged thing that may take you 14 hours, you can get in about an hour in some of these things. And they have the best nonfiction and autobiographies in the land here. And they're getting new ones day by day. As new things come out, they're rewriting them and also rewriting older books as well. Now, there's also things with Blinkist called Blinkist Spaces. One of the coolest things about Blinkist Spaces is you don't have to live the Blinkist laugh alone. You can share a Blinkist space, which allows you to share a Blink, a short book, with other folks where you can engage in them and have conversations there as well. There's also lots of curated content where many people who are much smarter than I and maybe much more accomplished than you, not necessarily smarter, have engaged and gathered various books and various things in a way that will teach you some larger lesson. Check it out at our link. This is theconversationproject.com/Blinkist. This is theconversationproject.com/Blinkist, Blinkist. The Blinkist app allows you to get all these books in quickly, and this link is an affiliate link that allows us to get a bit of commission for you using the app. Install the app and we get a commission. We thank you in advance for helping us keep things going here. Now let's talk about a deeper dive into the us, that is the Conversation Project. Conversation Project lives online at thisistheconversationproject.com. What we have for you there is an aggregation of stuff. At the website, you can see where our stuff is. We put out a copy of the daily newsletter, which is all the links we talk about here, with links to the audio playback version and the video playback version. We also offer up links to where we are everywhere else, like TikTok, like YouTube, like Facebook, things like that. We have links to our partnerships page. which is really important because we need partners to help us make things work around here. So if you deem us worthy, check it out and see if there's ways we can connect there. Also, just general things going on. Something new we added literally last week as we were going on the hiatus part was the daily poll. And the daily poll hadn't been catching on fire yet, but now that we're back to doing live stuff, you can check that as well. We'll give you the poll question at the end with the fun stuff in a moment. So you'll see what we're voting on today. And the Pop-Tart is coming back. We just can't get rid of the Pop-Tart. But what you need you to do, the most important things you can do for us are the free stuff. Go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter and engage with our stories. Go to your email machine. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com and tell us what we can do to do better going forward. Those are the most important things you can do for us every single day. We do need partnerships. We do need sponsorships. We do need you to buy some stuff from us so that we can keep things on the air and keep things going. But we need your inputs to do better things so that we can bring more people in going forward. Share the stuff with us. Share the videos, share the audio, share what we're doing so that more people can be engaged in the conversation, and look out for some bigger things going on. I've put out the bat signal to many of my good friends who are knowledgeable of stuff. Some of them not as knowledgeable, but making this more conversational. At least the Conversation Project will have more projects where I have more voices back and forth and let them chit chat about what they think about things, not just me rattling on. So it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Go to our website. It's theconversationproject.com for more details on what is coming, when it may be around. Let's get to the fun stuff for today. Fun stuff begins every single weekday morning with birthdays, because the birthdays are the funnerest stuff that we have going around. And today is no exception. We always pull Mekhi Phifer so I can, bring up the line from Lose Yourself. This is no movie. There's no Mekhi Phifer, but there actually is. He's 49 years old on the day. Happy birthday to Mekhi Phifer. Doing more things than just, being a kind of weird sort of Uncle Tomish rapper in 8 Mile. Very accomplished actor. Done a lot of things really early and not doing a lot, I guess, lately major. There's not a lot going on from a lot of these guys going on, but Mekhi Phifer giving him his props on this day, on 49th birthday, December 29th, rolling into the new year with a new year for him. This day in history, in 1851, the first American Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA, was organized in Boston. There you go. Get that out of your head today. You can't. It's stuck there. You want to stay at the YMCA. Today is also Pledge of Allegiance Day. Today is the day, the day that the Pledge of Allegiance was officially sort of put out there for what's going on. That actually might have been yesterday, so we'll check on the feeds for that if we actually updated that one going forward. But Pledge of Allegiance Day is the day that Pledge of Allegiance was actually essentially acknowledged, and that didn't happen until the 40s. It was written in the 1800s, but it didn't happen until 1945 or so, where Pledge Allegiance Day popped in. In fact, I'm almost positive that's the wrong stuff for the day, but we're going to move on because I'm almost positive I got the right poll question, which I do. Today's poll question: was the edible Pop-Tart mascot the best part of the College Bowl season? This is a season that had, in the Holiday Bowl, the coach doused in eggnog. In the Duke Mayonnaise Bowl, yes, Duke Mayonnaise sponsored the bowl, yummy, yummy mayonnaise, the coach was doused in mayonnaise, which oddly enough flowed much easier than the eggnog. And at the end of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, where the winning team, Kansas State, ate the mascot. Now, we didn't eat oranges for the Orange Bowl. We didn't toss out roses for the Rose Bowl, but we're doing this for this stuff here. It's for the eyeballs. There's a lot of things to distract us these days, and college bowl season is a totally different game these days, especially with realignment and NILs and the portals and all this stuff like that. So they got to bring the viewers in somehow, and watching people, grown men, eat a, not grown man, but a big cake was interesting. But was the best part of college bowl season? And of course, the actual bowl games that matter for the championship start this weekend. So that's probably the actual answer. But tell us yes or no by going to thisistheconversationproject.com/daily poll and voting in the daily poll. We're done. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Things You Might Have Heard for Friday, December 29th, 2023. Thank you for allowing us last week to play around with a couple new things to kind of get them into focus, see how they played out. And thank you for giving us some time off this week to just recharge and work on a couple things and get some things in line. Today, other than not changing out the slide for the Friday 29th of December daily things, I'm pretty sure Pledge Allegiance Day was yesterday. And Mekhi Phifer's birthday was probably yesterday. This, I think it was a success, and we got it in under 20 minutes. So we'll see if we can keep it pithy, keep it rolling, keep it smooth. If you want to help us out, go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter and let us know what to talk about, because we have no words until you give us the words. Email us about things we can do to fix things at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. Visit our partnerships page to see if there's ways we can join up together and work on some stuff. The weekend is coming, literally coming tomorrow, so stop by tomorrow, look in your feeds for the weekly wrap-up, which are the top 10 pure engagement stories. We're going to go back to that story that we had in the open on the basketball player, because it's the numbers. I hadn't had a chance to look over all the numbers of the week yet, but that numbers by just seeing how it came in overnight, it's going to be a top 10 story, if not a number 1, 2, 3 guaranteed. From those top 10 stories, we'll pick the story of the week, and we'll give you more detail, a deeper dive into one story you deemed as conversational. And this week, this conversational stories, there's a lot of darkness in the week we took off to not do these daily things. So there's a lot of things going to be kind of dark. I think we're going to go that route, unfortunately, because we're going for what you want to talk about. In the meantime, prepare for the Monday edition of this thing here. Vote to the feeds and vote up stories to make sure you know what you want to talk about come Monday, because we'll do that. Love you, mean it, stay hydrated, stay limber, stay on task for all the grand things you're here to do. We've almost made it, 2024 in 2 days. Let's wrap it up strong and start it up strong, keeping things going. Right now, let's have a great Friday. If you got the day off because the weirdness of the weekend, enjoy yourself. If you got to get to work, go get that work in. We'll see you come Monday. Yeah, we'll do this New Year's Day. I go to bed early. I don't stay up. We'll see you New Year's Day.